Hi, I'm Sarah. Hi, guys. Welcome to Tuesday Big Brother live feed updates for BB23. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I would super appreciate it. Also, I got a Patreon. If you would like to join, we have a very fun Discord for our patrons. Join us over there if you are so inclined. We've got some campaigning. We've got a showmance couple who they're putting in some work. Not sure it's doing much good, but they are working hard. Hi, you guys. Happy Tuesday. All right, there's a couple plans in action here. Christian and Alyssa really racking their brains, or I should say Alyssa is really racking her brains. Christian's racking his brain a little bit. It's interesting what comes out of Christian's brain, but he's working it. He's really trying to figure it out. So yesterday, a little bit from last night, yesterday, Christian pitched to the jokers, right? He basically realized he doesn't need to worry about Tiffany and Claire, doesn't need to be worrying about any votes except for the jokers. That's the swing, and that's what he needs to work on. Hi, Bolden. I do not have a TikTok. I am not good with the TikTokies and have not gotten there. Someone help me with that. I'd like to figure it out. I just barely use my Instagram. Anyway, so his pitch to the jokers. Let's get the jokers on board. Yeah, he says he will give them the HOH. If he wins HOH, they can pick the music. They can pick the snacks. They can have the room. Whoever they want to go out, he's going to give them the whole HOH. That's their pitch. Now, Brittany yesterday went ahead and promised her vote to him right ahead. That's a lie, she said to everyone else. She's just telling him, they had a final two. Secret. The two of them had a final two. So that's right. When Brittany gets out, I'm going to say, can I have some TikTok classes, please? Hi. He thinks he has Brittany's vote, and he thinks he has Derek Fraser's vote, because both of them just easily said, yes, of course, I want you to stay. You have my vote. They both admitted that that is a lie to everybody else in the house, but Christian thinks he has that. He just needs to get Azah. And so his pitch was this whole, I'll give you the HOH. Today, oh, poor Derek X. I mean, I tweeted out some screenshots just of like his body language. He's like curled up basically in a corner, like as far away as he can be. And Christian and Alyssa just nonstop, just talking about how obviously they would never come after Derek. They weren't planning on it. They would never. Let's work together. Let's be each other's shield. Christian offers, I think it's basically a 3-week deal. They said to like 8 people. Basically, they would agree to a final 8 with the 4. Christian, Alyssa, Hannah, and Derek X was what Christian was suggesting. And, Derek is basically like, yeah, let me think about that. Okay. And when Christian finally left, Derek did say, well, that's interesting. But then he talked it out and he was like, so that would leave me with Christian, Alyssa, X. Like, that's who I'd be going against in the 8, which is not a good setup because I'm definitely not in with them, as opposed to the Kyland, Sarah, Beth group that he had already made that agreement earlier in the week, being at the end of the game with them is just slightly more comfortable. So he talked it through and was like, yeah, no, this doesn't really make sense for me to go that way. But then Alyssa comes in and she's just, oh my God, forever. And again, he's just like, he's not even nodding or saying, oh, sure, what? Or asking questions. Like, just, it was so obvious that he didn't want to be there. But he let her talk for like 45 minutes. And still really nothing here that's enticing, you know. But I kind of feel bad for HOHs who are like, look, Christian or whoever, this happens every year. You're someone that I have to battle in this game and I want you gone. And now I have to sit here and listen to you just lie to me about how we were going to work together when you're just like, oh God, no, just go. But separately, Christian and Alyssa, this is what came out of Christian's brain. So, you know, Alyssa is going above and beyond for Christian. It's, in my opinion, it's a little too much because you're working so hard for your showman. So you are doubling down that you are a duo, that you're a package deal. You are, you know, not pretending in any which way for you to like campaign so hard for him. I feel like that's a bit of a misstep for her, especially since she's not even on the block, but she's definitely going to be here. So you want to be able to work with these people moving forward, or at least by appearances, you want to look like you're working with them, even if you're going to target them. So, but Christian and Alyssa are talking, and Christian's like, this is what I'm going to do. The next time Sarah Beth and Kyland go off and like whisper, you know, have a talk, he wants to go to Tiffany and Claire and say he overheard splitting it. And basically, you guys have already heard that Tiffany has sort of like just kind of run with this whole Sarah Beth Kyland thing. She's like, Sarah Beth and Kyland they've known each other before they came in the house. They're America's couple. They, you know, like she's just like built it up to this huge thing that's obviously ridiculous. But he wants to add on to that. So he said, if he sort of is like, oh, I heard them say something about splitting it. Are they talking about the money if they make it to jury together as this duo? Something about the money, and like build up the paranoia with that to target Sarah Beth or to help, you know, his campaign against Sarah Beth. It was so funny because, you know, Christian has a hard time explaining himself in the first place, but also it's a bit convoluted. And Alyssa was like, this is your idea? And he was like, I just wanted to do one thing on my own. Which really makes me laugh because she talks for him a lot and he doesn't even, like yesterday, he didn't even get to try to talk to Derek X about going up on the block. She did all the talking. So I really thought that was funny that she was like, he said to her, I just want to do one thing on my own. And she was like, okay, all right, so it's your thing. And he was like, but what do you think about it? She's like, well, I don't want to judge. It's your thing. She obviously didn't love the idea at first, but she warmed up to it and gave him some pointers, which really did help. She was like, don't give them too much information. Just if you overheard something, you just overheard a couple words and then let them like run with it. Don't, you know, they're not going to believe you if you're like, I heard a whole paragraph about them splitting money, being America's duo or whatever. So, yeah, I can't wait to see it go down because Tiffany will run with it. Tiffany is doing this on purpose to put a target on Sarah Beth's back. She's going to be like, yes, more ammo, please and thank you. And I can only imagine that it will work and that it will become big and juicy and delicious and people are going to talk about it in the House. Don't think that it will, or I don't know that it will change anything this week, but they're actively working on making sure that Sarah Beth is the target next week. So they would very much appreciate this stuff. I think that's hilarious. Oh, you guys, why do I have my earbuds in? I'm not listening to the feeds anymore. Feeds are over. I'll plug those in. I don't need those in my ears. So I can't wait. It has not happened yet. But they've definitely been like, oh, Sarah Beth's so greedy. She took that money, the veto comp. They're doing their best with just like, ugh, Sarah Beth, kind of stuff. He's not good. Like, at some points I'm like, is Alyssa even like following this? She's got really good patience with him. And she's like, she never says, what are you talking about? Which is what I say all the time when I'm listening. I don't even know what that means, but I like it. I'm so drippy. What? Teach me all the lingo, guys. And then I can go on TikTok with all the lingo. I love it. Okay, so that is the Alyssa Christian stuff. They're working overtime. They're working hard. They are talking to everyone in the house, except not so much Tiffany. The Christian kind of already did his talk with Tiffany yesterday, and she was like, I wish you well, my love. I send you out. I'd love to keep you. Go forth and conquer with your campaigning. It was kind of her like send off. So he was like, oh my God, I think she was like saying goodbye to me. It wasn't like, let's try to get you to stay. It was like a goodbye. So he's working mostly on the jokers, and so is Alyssa. And obviously Derek X, who, like, again, he can't vote, guys, but I get it. You want to convince him because he does have power and sway, but he does not vote. So Derek catches Hannah up on this. And I love to report that he went looking for Hannah after he talked to Christian and Alyssa. He wanted to tell Hannah everything. The duo, it might not be perfect in paradise, but they are working very well together. So she went up to the HOH room, and he did have his arm around her as they were talking, and he was giving her all the details. There was something that he really thought was interesting that Christian said. So Christian said when I think it was when Kyland was HOH. So that was week 2. In Christian's one-on-one with Kyland, Christian reported to DX this morning that Kyland said Derek is sneaky. Christian tried to be like, and Kyland doesn't say, Kyland's not so sure about you. Kyland has said some stuff. He made it sound like it was a big thing. And Derek was like, can you tell me what he said? And he was like, he said you're sneaky. That was it. And Derek was like, when was this? What was this all about? And so Derek is telling Hannah this. He was like, he told me Kyland said I was sneaky. Like, I'm concerned about Kyland now. I'm not sure how Kyland feels about me. And Hannah was like, okay, let's remember the source. Christian and Alyssa are scrambling. I don't trust everything that they say. And I do trust Kyland more than I trust Christian and Alyssa. So let's just, remember the source. Not sure. And Derek was like, yeah, okay, I guess. He's like, you think they made that up? Okay. He was like, but I guess I can also understand why he'd say I'm sneaky. Like, week 1 was, they love to just blame Derek for so much for week 1. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be a big, huge thing, but it is something in Derek's head that he's just not sure if Kyland is like over him or, that kind of stuff. Sarah, if the power this week is good, who are you voting for? Well, it depends on what the power is. I want to see what the twist is. I want to see who we're giving power to. I know that popular people are going to probably get it, which is probably Derek X or Hannah. Could go to Tiffany, but Tiffany has a lot of power, so most people don't usually vote that way. But the more I listen to these conversations about the future, the more I'm concerned about Claire. So if I had the ability to give Claire something, I feel like she's the next one in danger who I would want to have it. But it depends on what the power is. You know what I mean? Derek X might need the power. He can't play HOH, so maybe we give it to him. But there were a couple conversations today that made me concerned about Claire. So now she's at the forefront of my mind. You know what I mean? Amy says she saw Hannah reject DX's invitation to spend the night in the HOH room. That's smart. They do not need to look like a showmance. They do not need to be kissy-kissy. I think they're handling it very well. I'm not convinced he's that into her. So she does not need to fall for him any more than she already has fallen for him. Okay, so Tiffany and X lately have been Xavier. X is Xavier. Tiffany and Xavier have lately been talking about they've kind of got not a great taste in their mouth for Kylan this week, right? This whole blindside, this whole thing, smells of Kylan's hand involved in there. I mean, Tiffany knows her hand was involved, but he's moved down the list for Xavier. He was already down the list for Tiffany, and they're just a little not so sure if he's more self-interested in his game than the rest of them are. I mean, they're all self-interested, but so they're concerned about him, want him to probably be the first one gone once the cookout gets to 6. And today it came up of like, if Kylan won HOH, who would he put up? Like, we're all talking about targeting Sarah Beth next week. Obviously, he's not going to do that. Who would he put up? And this was Claire, Xavier, Tiffany at first. And no one could answer. They were like, I don't know. Brittany, Alyssa? Like, I don't know. And then Tiffany and Xavier separated, and Tiffany brought it up again. And then Xavier went and had a talk with Kylan, and he was kind of fishing for information. So this conversation I thought was really interesting, because Kylan, knowing that they're building Sarah Beth up as like the next one to take out, he said, I think I could probably get her. Now you got to like read between the lines with this, guys. He's not anti-Sarah Beth. He's still very much pro Sarah Beth and wants to keep her forever. So he's making it seem like take it or leave it. Sarah Beth, whatever, no big deal. But then he like circles back and plants other seeds, right? So he's like, I think I can get Sarah Beth to throw the HOH. You know, the vote's going to heavily go in her favor. You know, as long as it's not like a super, super close vote. If it's like 7-2, she'll probably throw it. Don't worry about it. And then X and Kylan were like, we should probably throw it too. Like, we can't put up Sarah Beth. Xavier's like, I can't put up Sarah Beth. Kylan's like, I can't put up Sarah Beth. We should probably not win it. And then Kylan's like, but you know, if I did, like, if I couldn't throw it, you know, like if I did end up winning HOH, like, I guess, I don't know, like who, I'd probably have to like go after Claire probably. And Xavier's like, oh, how would Tiffany feel about that? And Kylan's like, well, you know, she said to me that, you know, we'd take out Sarah Beth, then Claire. So I would just be flipping it, you know, Claire, then Sarah Beth, you know, probably no big deal. And Xavier's like, oh, and Kylan's like, you too, right? Like, you'd probably want to put up Claire. And X is like, I don't know. Like, I think it's just best if we threw it. And Kylan's like, yeah. No, of course. We're going to throw it. And that's when I first was like, oh, crap. Of course, Claire would be who he targets because Kylan knows there's basically a battle between Kylan and Tiffany. Tiffany knows it too. There is a clear, like, power structure where the two of them know that they are trying to run this game. They have to take out each other's, number ones to weaken the other person. So of course he's going to tell people, yeah, I'm going to throw the HOH, then not throw it, and then put Claire up and get Claire out instead of Sarah Beth. Xavier leaves this conversation, goes directly to Tiffany to say, I was trying to get a name out of Kylan and he wouldn't tell me a name. I was like, oh, X did not reveal that name to Tiffany when he could have thrown a Kylan right under, but he didn't. He said, I tried to get a name out of Kylan. He wouldn't tell me. And then of course that frustrated Tiffany. She was like, well, he only has like 3 names to choose from: Brittany, Alyssa, and Sarah Beth. And I was like, oh, again. Oh, she doesn't even say Claire's name. Oh, she's just conveniently going to leave Claire off of that list. I like it personally, but Xavier's got to be like picking up on all of this, right? I think so. He's a smart guy. He's not playing a great game, but he's a smart guy. He's in a good position, even though he's not playing the game super hard, but he's in a good position. And I hope he is cataloging all of this information. Okay. Christian goes to campaign to Hannah. Little Miss Chada. She's like, okay, so, why would I trust anything that you say? You put me on the block last week. And he's like, I had your best interest the whole time. Like you were not, I didn't want you to go home. I had your best interest. She's like, so I was someone who was already working with you and talking to you about game, and you put me on the block and put my game at risk. And you put that means you put 3 whole jokers ahead of me. And he said something like, something about trusting his word. And she was like, it's not even your word, it's your actions, because you put me on the block. And he's like, and she's like, yeah, so if you could explain to me, and you can get back to me on this, but tell me what has changed from last week, putting me on the block, putting my game at risk. I'm expendable, 3 jokers above me. What has changed to now? Oh my God. She was probably, she was eating him up, but like inside she was like, I love this. Cause he was like, here's a pitch. And she was like, I don't think so. Hard pass. You put me on the block last week. She was like, look, I don't want to keep Sarah Beth in this game. Like she was, my name was in her mouth 1,000 times last week. She was like, but you put me on the block. It was so good, you guys. It was so good. I love it. Because, people are always trying to lie and schmooze and manipulate and mist, up, down, and center. And I love it when someone is just like, yeah, I don't think so. You put me on the block. Or you voted against me, or like whatever it is that they can do. Chatitude. She's got a chatitude when she needs a chatitude. She sure does. You are welcome, Emily. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. That was super fun. That was a great conversation. Alyssa also tried really hard with Azza because they think Azza's like basically the swing vote. They need to get Azza. And as soon as Alyssa got up, Azza like to the camera was like, the mist. I don't think so. So I think that the more work that they do is actually backfiring on Christian. I do think it'll be interesting, like we talked about earlier, if they talk about the whole like splitting the money and try to like stir up more dirt on Sarah Beth. But again, I don't think. Yes, I do. I don't think it's going to affect anything this week. I think it's pretty much sealed the deal for Christian to go. I mean, something could change. We know that Tiffany would love to keep Christian if she could make it work. Brittany does have a final two with Christian. Like if she changed her mind and could convince Azza and Derek, like it's possible. But the more that they tried today, the more people were like, no, I don't think so. So I don't think it's looking good for Christian's game. And honestly, this isn't looking good for Alyssa's game either. She's going to have to in general, her game should be fine. Once Christian goes, she like moves way back down the list. Like she should be fostering relationships because there are plenty of people who don't want to have to worry about her. But the more that she works, the more people are talking about, like, I don't know. I think we've underestimated Alyssa. I think that she is really good at lying. Like she's gotten caught lying, these past few days. And they're like, dang, she's really good at lying to your face. Like this is the kind of stuff that is making it worse for her game when she was going to be in a pretty darn fine position after Christian left, right? I know. I loved it when Tiffany slipped up in front of Hannah about the royal flush. That was so good. So good. So yeah, the swing votes will be the Jokers, or it could be Tiffany, but not sure that we're going to get there. Sarah Beth is definitely a very high probability of a target this next HOH. But if Kyland wins, obviously not. She's super safe, and Claire might be in danger. If Brittany wins, if Azza wins, they might go for Alyssa over Sarah Beth. The Jokers really are having a hard time with Alyssa, so they might change up the target a little bit. But even X and Tiffany were talking about how when Sarah Beth goes up this week, that Kylan needs to sit next to her. And if for cookout members to say that not only are they okay with that, but that makes the most sense to Kylan sit next to Sarah Beth, that's whoa. That would be very interesting to see. And I wonder if that messes things up with the cookout. Of course, I doubt anyone from the cookout would make that move. I don't see Tiffany making that move. That really would send a message, I would think, to Kyland of like, we don't really care about the cookout. So I don't know if that would work. Won't Claire go for Kyland and X? I think so. And I hope that Claire realizes it's time for her to win, because she has been sort of, doing her little work on the side and behind closed doors, but not wanting to win comps. And then she won that safety. So obviously no need to win this week. But she needs to start winning. She needs to get a little bit of power, make some other relationships, because she is going to be a target soon, and I don't think she quite realizes that. Dalton's asking if this is Claire's last week of safety. I think so, but we don't have confirmation yet. It's not going to be until Julie says, you made it to jury. Then we know Claire's safety is over. But so this should be it, because this should be the last week before jury. This HOH should be the last week before jury, which means, though, if she is safe for this HOH coming up, she probably will not try to win it, but at least Kylan can't go after her yet. If that's the case, we will find out on Thursday. You don't think Tiffany will turn on the cookout this soon? I don't think anyone's going to turn on the cookout until at least jury. Once they're all in jury, even though they're saying final 6, I think once they're all on jury is when the gloves will come off and Tiffany and Kylan will accidentally get their pawns to go after them. They just can't do it themselves. But they can sure get Claire or Derek X or Sarah Beth or Brittany to do any of it. Alyssa, it's time to jump off the Christian bus. He's getting the ticket to leave the BB house. Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand that she wants to try to help him stay, but her campaigning for him, that ain't it. That ain't it, honey. You give him ideas, you pack his lunch, and you send him off to school, but you don't do the work for him. That's an interesting misstep. I can't control my pawn. I find it really funny that they talk about controlling their pawn. Hannah today was telling Xavier how much control she has over her pawn, Derek X, that she has more control over him than Kylan. And she was really grilling him on how does he have control over his pawns. And it's like, oh, okay. I know that we want to utilize and use these people for your game, but controlling your pawn has really become a funny term. I hope if Claire gets put up, she can win veto and realize she needs to start winning stuff. Absolutely. I mean, that's the upside for, like, Hannah was playing a very similar game of like, I'm in a great spot. No one's coming for me. I don't need to win anything. And then boom, she goes on the block and you're like, oh, now I do need to win things. Now I see it. So like, that's the upside. She sees it. Same thing with Sarah Beth. Sarah Beth was like, I'm in such a great spot. I don't need to win anything. No one's coming for me. And then boom, you go on the block and you're like, oh, I do need to start winning things. So I would hope the same thing with Claire. I really enjoy Claire's game. And so I would hope that if she were put up, that she gets to save herself and realizes, I got to play harder. Yay, welcome, Dory. Glad you made it. Glad you made it. What other questions do we have? That is basically the highlights for today. Christian's more than likely his percentage is actually going up higher and higher. SB, large target on her back. But she did do some good work. She, her and Kylan, Hannah, and Derek X kind of made a foursome agreement. And, she went and sat up in the HOH room and just did some good social game work with Derek X and Hannah today. So I do appreciate that kind of work. If you're going to have these relationships, you gotta foster them. Like last week, Christian and Alyssa did the first step of making a deal with Hannah and Derek X, which is great. when you're in power to make those deals. But then Christian and Derek never hung out together. They never talked. You know, Christian was like, oh, Alyssa made these deals for me. Cool. And that this is just proof of how that works. If you don't actually put in the work, you go up on the block later. Like, this isn't real. And so Sarah Beth, at least putting in that work, it's the best she can do. She doesn't have a lot on her side right now. So at least, you know, do what you can do. Try to get yourself saved this week. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about punishments. What is Kai's punishments? Making sandwiches. Yes, he's in a donkey. Is that what it is? It's like a donkey costume, a horse costume, where he gets an alert and has to make BLTs, sandwiches. And there's all sorts of bacon. They keep talking about vegan bacon, turkey bacon, all sorts of bacon. And the announcement will say, like, make a BLT for the ladies or make a BLT for yourself. There's even some that say make BLTs for everyone, and the people on slop, the have-nots, get to eat, and they get very excited when that announcement happens. So that's his costume punishment, and that's for a week. And Claire's, the Duchess of something. She's a Duchess of sorts, but it looks like the Queen of Hearts. She's like a card. She has a card costume, and she has a hat and a little crown. I think she looks adorable. I mean, he looks adorable in little, it's like a onesie with a horse head. But she gets an announcement, and she has to play 52 card pickup. So she just like walks around with a deck of cards, and then she has to like throw them everywhere and then pick them up. And that one also is for a week. Derek X's was the Lord of the Latrine, but that was only 24 hours. And can we just talk about that one for a second? Thank you. Lovejoy Peaches, Duchess of the Deck, and the deck of cards. Yes, Amy, the have-nots get to eat. It hasn't happened often. I think I saw it once. So they got a little BLT break. Oh, thank you. Nightfall till nightfall. The jack of clubs. Chickies. So he's like a little donkey, a horse. Club sandwiches. I thought they were BLTs. Okay. Club sandwiches have bacon. I don't eat meat. I don't know. I don't know what these sandwiches are. The Lord of the Latrine was really funny. First off, Derek's outfit was like high quality. We don't see outfits like that very often. The ones that they're wearing right now, Claire and Kylan, those are typical BB we threw together from the party store. But Derek X's costume looks so good. And he had to unlock the bathroom for everybody. Then, like, what is it? A bugle, a horn, and say, you know, Claire is using the porcelain throne. Okay, that's funny. It was especially funny because of the whole veto ceremony yesterday, and like Christian had to use the bathroom, and he had just gotten backdoored, and he had to ask Derek to open it. Like, it got pretty humorous, and I can't wait to see them put that together in the show. They better. That was some good footage. But I was like, this is a punishment for the whole house. I personally, I tweeted this out, but like, I tweeted out they have bathroom issues. I don't know if that's the way to phrase it, but like, I need the bathroom to be a very private. Just living in the Big Brother house would be hard for me. I'd probably not use the bathroom for like a week and then get some sort of infection and have to like be hospitalized or something. Like, I am not good using the bathroom in a public stage, a public arena. And if I had to go ask someone to unlock the bathroom for me, and then they announced it, and then they hang out in the bathroom because he's got to be there, so he barely left the bathroom, I would be so uncomfortable. Yes, thank you. We'll call it bathroom shy, Emily. Good. Yeah. Yes, Jessica. I was lucky enough to live in a scholarship house, and it just had like nice private bathrooms in college. Right? I would hold it for, I would be like, okay, so he's the Lord of Latrine for 24 hours. I will not be using the restroom for 24 hours. I was so like, I love the punishment for the show. It was very funny, but personally, I was so triggered every time he was like, doo-doo-doo, someone's using the porcelain throne. Yeah. When I was, okay, now I'm going to tell you too much information. When I was in elementary school, like when I went to school for the first time, I didn't go to the bathroom for those like 8 hours or whatever school is. I did not, this has like been all of my life. I did not want to use a public stall. And it wasn't until like high school or something that I was like, okay, Sarah, you gotta get it together. You can use a public stall. You can do this. It's taken a lot of work. But I am not to this point where you can announce it, and it would be very hard for me. Yeah, he was very funny. He would, call out, oh, using it again. He'd be like, is it number 1 or number 2? Like, definitely having fun with it, but that is not my kind of fun. I definitely wouldn't be going number 2 after someone announced it. I wouldn't even be able to. I'd just sit there and be like, nope, this isn't going to happen, guys. Sorry. Well, an outhouse would be fine if no one else was around. An outhouse is just fine if there is nobody else. I am okay with that. That's a good question, Amy. Could they use the HOH bathroom? I don't know, because he was the HOH. That's what was funny about it, is like, there must have been a rule, because I didn't see anyone trying to use it. Same. I never used the bathroom in elementary because the first day someone opened the door. Maybe that happened to me and I don't remember it. I don't know. Maybe there were just people like hanging out in the bathroom. I don't know how this happened, but I was triggered from a young age, and here we are talking about it on YouTube. That's a good question, Kathy. Did DX get woken up from sleep to open the bathroom at all? I don't know. I did hear people talking about how they held it because they didn't want to go wake him up. So I don't know if anyone actually did, but there was literally a lock. So it wasn't even like you could, oops, I forgot to go wake him up and get the announcement. There was a lock. You could not use the bathroom. I would have gone and probably waited till everyone went to sleep, and then I'd have like peed in the shower or something so that no one would know. And then I didn't have to use it and get an announcement. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Talking about bathroom stuff. Okay. So that is their punishments. I'm excited to see that stuff on the episode tomorrow. I'm also very excited to see on the episode tomorrow how this veto comp went down, because there's been such drama about Sarah Beth taking the 5,000. And I think you guys already know my opinion of like, hello, take the 5,000 if you can take the 5,000. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So I can't wait to see how not dramatic it really is, even though they make it dramatic in the house. That'll be exciting to see. So we'll see that tomorrow, and then we'll see, I guess, we should at least see parts of the punishments costumes tomorrow. Who would you like to see as the next HOH? Good question. This is funny because I feel like this is my answer every week, but I still want a Brittany HOH. She's the like wild card. I also want an Azah HOH. The two of them are wild cards of the season, and Tiffany and Kyland. I mean, there's so much game work happening. Claire's involved, X is involved, but Brittany and Azah are not 100% in on all of this. And so I just love the idea of like all of this work that they do all week, painting targets on Sarah Beth's back, Whitney's back, like whoever's back. And then for a Brittany to win. And she's not going to follow all of that work that they did. And I would just love it. I just still would love it. I would be down for a Hannah HOH for sure. Yes. Oh my gosh. If DF won something by accident, Big D, that would be hilarious. He's got a little bit of Enzo in him where he's all talk, or he's a lot of talk, I should say. He's like, if I want, you guys just, you won't even see what's coming. If I want, I'm coming after you guys, this. And he tells other people, you need to do, you need to go after this person. You need to go after Derek X. You need to go after Sarah Beth. Like, he loves to tell you what to do, like big time talk, because he's not planning on winning anything. So you can be like, yes, I would 100% gun for the big dogs. I would take you out so fast, when you're not really planning on winning. But if then he actually won by accident, he wouldn't know what to do. He wouldn't be willing to make any big moves. I don't think. That's just my opinion. I think she said she would nominate Kyland and DX and maybe backdoor Alyssa. Yes, she has said that. She does change regularly, so I would be interested to see exactly what she'd do. But she's definitely worried about Kyland and Derek X. She's also worried about X a little bit, and she doesn't like Alyssa. She's got a lot of targets. I would love an Azah HOH for 2 reasons. I just want to see her do whatever it is that she wants to do. But also I think she would benefit from some power, because she is smart and she is strategic, and she could play this game if she put forth some effort, and she just got comfortable sitting in that back room with her fellow jokers. And if she got some power, she'd be privy to more conversations and might kind of jolt her back into the game a bit more. So I would love to see that. Oh yeah, DF is throwing all day, every day, and then if he actually won it, he's not going to really make a big move. He doesn't need to take the day bed upstairs. He has got a whole big bed that he'll just like lounge across the whole bed all week. Make everyone come up to the HOH to him. Then he'd kick them all out and say, leave me alone. Yay, Artie, you made it. But I think, unfortunately, Artie, we've already covered everything. Gotta go back and watch it from the beginning. Christian is going. Alyssa needs to stop working so hard for him. Sarah Beth, high target, but other people are as well. Depends on who wins. Because the people who are targeting Sarah Beth are not people willing to win. That's important to remember. And punishments are adorable. Veto comp tomorrow. That is the recap in a nutshell. Yes, thank you. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And if you're joining later, please leave a comment. It all helps the algorithm for the YouTube channel, so it is appreciated. But I also just love chatting with you guys, and I love to hear your opinions. So I want to know how you feel about Christian going. Is there any way he can save himself? Can he flip these votes? And who you want the target to be. And I don't know what this power is going to be, but who do you want to win it? That's what we want to know. Oh, Rick Fontaine. We're calling you Fontaine now. When will the cookout be exposed? I'm not sure that it's going to be. I am not sure that it's going to be. There was a moment today when Tiffany was talking to Derek X and she was like, I'm going to send Claire up here. She's got some more information that I don't know fully. And I was like, yes, send Claire up there so that she and Derek can figure out the cookout. It's too hard. They haven't figured it out. I would love it to be figured out, though. I love anytime there's a challenge. Make it harder for them. Oh, DX getting that power. Depending on what the power is, I could definitely vote for DX. I do adore Derek X, and I think he's done a great job with this HOH. Yep. And Christian can head on. Oh, Christian, by the way, is going, when he gets out of the house on Thursday, he's going to change his Facebook status to in a relationship with Alyssa, you guys, in case you were worried. Don't worry. They've also asked Xavier to not sleep with them on Wednesday night up in the have-not room. They're all up in the have-not room together this week. But on Wednesday night, they asked to have the room to themselves. So that's happening. So, okay. Yay! Everyone, seasons 4 and 5. Wow. Okay. Everyone audition for the circle. Make it happen. I did not see BB23's David is on Naked and Afraid. Love Island. Wait, is that 2 different shows or is this a new show I don't know about? Oh boy. Does the cookout remind me of Level 6? No. No, I don't think we've had anyone like the cookout is its own thing because they truly are loyal to each other. And we've never seen that before. We've never seen people not have to talk and be loyal to each other. So we'll see. We will see if that will ever gets blown up. Not sure. All right. Thank you, guys. I will be back tomorrow after the episode with Josh from Couch Potato Queens. He's joining me tomorrow after the episode to recap. And then also we will catch up on any live feed campaigning, vote flip, any Waffle Wednesday that happens tomorrow. And then, of course, Thursday and Friday, I'm back. So make sure you're subscribed and I'll see you guys then. Okay. Bye.